as well. Okay.
Right. Just make sure you can hear me from, or can you hear me? And
yeah.
Great, perfect. So yeah, hi everyone. So my module, like I said, on Sunday is about listening to other voices and people from other communities and groups, and listening to different experiences and learning more about how they experience life and things like that. So our first guest speaker is Elton. Elton has been a friend of ours for about a year more now, and has a really interesting story. And how we came across him, which we'll talk about later, is his absolutely incredible artistic ability and the mural he painted here at our offices in Serve. But first of all, Elton, can you tell our guests and participants about your story, where you're from, and how you ended up in Ireland?
My name is Elton Sibanda. I'm from Zimbabwe in Bulawayo. I left my country in 2019 to coming here to Ireland to seek an asylum, because like in my country with some like political issues, so like I had to come here, and now I'm living in direct provision in Millstreet.
So what made you leave Zimbabwe?
Because like we had political issues, like the government and stuff, like it started like something like a war and stuff in 2019 on January. So like people started fleeing like the country, going to South Africa, Namibia, like the closest countries, and then we decided to leave the continent and then come here to Ireland.
So you've been in Ireland for 3 years now?
Oh yes, yeah.
So bring us back to January 2019, and the coup starts in Zimbabwe. What did the first few weeks like that look like?
Like the first few weeks, like I would say on the second week of January, there was a fuel strike after they elected a new president. And then after that, the opposition party started like kind of arguing with the situation. And then they started like beating people around, shooting people, and then it started the war. And then everyone started like fleeing the country. And then we ended up here in Ireland.
So where did you go first after Zimbabwe? So after the initial
like we first went to South Africa. And then in South Africa, like they were like chasing out like foreigners, like Congolese, Nigerians, Zimbabweans, and then we had to fly here in Ireland.
So you came to Ireland in 2019, and what was the first experience of that?
Like when I came here to Ireland, I couldn't even speak a single word of English, and then so I met like people who are from Zimbabwe, and then they started like translating and teaching me how to speak English, like translating what other people are saying. And then I started like finding like it easy like to speak English. And then I went to Utrecht Macron. That's when I did my QQI level 4 employment skills. And then I went to St. John's Central College. And then I just finished my degree in St. John's like 2 weeks ago. But like I'm still living in direct provision.
So when you first landed into Ireland, what's the process like from getting, say, when you actually land to starting in Millstreet direct provision there?
Okay, no problem. Like when you come here to Ireland, you first stay in a hostel. It's called the Basiskin. That's in Dublin. And then after that, they will like fix your papers, like a PPS card, medical card, like in the blue card. It's called the TRC card, it's called temporary resident card. And then after that, they find like a space for you. Like maybe let's say they can move here to Cork, they can move you to Galway, like any closest city that they can find. And then that's where you can live until you get your papers, so that you can move out.
So was any timeline given to you about how long you might be in direct provision? How long you were there?
There's no timeline. There's no timeline.
So how quickly did you end up in Millstreet after you arrived in Ireland?
I stayed in Dublin for a month, but like my parents stayed in Dublin for like 6 months because they came here first. So like we found them in Dublin. Yeah.
And so how have you experienced direct provision and living in direct provision for the past 3 years?
I'll say I'll say there's good parts and bad parts of it. Like I'll start with the good parts. Like the good parts, like sometimes they can treat us nicely, and then the bad parts, like there's lack of respect. Like they don't respect like people. Like whenever maybe let's say you need transport, like you have to beg them that you need transport. Maybe let's say you're in a train station and then you're waiting for the bus. Sometimes they don't show up. They're always late. So I say like the conditions like they are really bad.
When you say they, who is they?
It's like the management, like the workers.
And so what are you able to do and what are you not able to do living in refuge? So are you able to get a job? Are you able to drive? What are you able to do?
Like let's say when you are new in the provision, like you have to wait for 6 months until you apply for a permit, and then you can start working. And then you now the system is changing. You can get your license and then you can drive. So like I would say it's getting much better now.
And so you've been here for what, 2.5 years, almost 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah.
Do you know how much longer you will be in refuge?
I'm not really sure. I would say maybe anytime from now, like I can get my papers and be able to move out.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So.
And so, if you were speaking to the Minister for Justice, or what would you say needs to be changed with direct provision? If you had to change three things that you about direct provision, what would they be?
Yeah, I would say to make the process faster and to allow people like to travel wherever they want, like maybe inside like the continent, at least inside the continent, and like people to have freedom in direct provision, because like some other direct provision they don't allow visitors and stuff. So like it's hard like for their friends to allow. Like I would say if I have friends, like they cannot visit me in my place, but I can visit them. So like I would say there's no fairness.
Yeah. I'll open the floor up to questions in a couple of minutes, but I want to ask Elton about your art, which is how we came across you. And we'll show the picture of the mural in a second. But when and how did you start drawing and painting?
I started drawing when I think that was around 2009, 2010. But like I was only drawing like cartoons and stuff. And then my mom encouraged me like to stay with my mom encouraged me to up my game and start drawing people, painting and stuff. So like when I started painting, like when I was in high school in Zimbabwe, I didn't go to like I didn't do art, but like I was doing art at home because like my mom was teaching me how to draw and stuff. So like after that, I started doing commissions. And then when I came here, I continued doing commissions and stuff. So yeah. And then until I get to college, and then I started learning art in college.
And long term, what do you want to do with your art in the next few years?
I like for now, I still have like open options. I can be a tattoo artist. I can be a self-employed artist. I can be a makeup artist. So I can be anything that I want, like with art.
Yeah.
I can even do like tombstones because like I can do sculptures. I can do pottery as well. So I can do anything with art.
Yeah.
anything that is art related, I can do.
Yeah. Can I get Orla to share her screen maybe and get the Padlet picture of the mural? And Orla, if you're able to, can you go onto the Padlet there and share your screen of the picture we put up the mural earlier on?
Yeah, I'll try to get onto the Padlet now.
Cool. And if,
I'll let you know when I have it.
Okay. And if the rest of you want to ask any questions, feel free to ask some questions now if you have them. Anyone? Brian, go ahead.
What was your first impression when you came? Like when the welcome you received or not welcome received when you arrived? What was that experience like?
Yeah, like when I arrived here in 2019 in Basaskin, I was welcomed very well because like everyone was new there. So like they were welcoming like people very well, but like when you get transferred to another hostel, that's where the problem starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that. So what kind of problems have you faced?
Like I faced I would say like I've argued with the management in the hostels because I wanted something, then they didn't give me what I wanted, and then we ended up arguing. So yeah.
And you feel like they don't treat people with respect.
Yes, yeah. Like sometimes like they don't respect people. Like sometimes, but when you stand up for yourself, yeah, you can earn like your respect. So
yeah. Dermot, I think you had a question there as well.
Yeah, great to hear from you guys. Elton, I was wondering if you'd be able to share, like, how would you encourage others to maybe find their purpose in life? It sounds like you've really found your creative side of things, and you're very.
I didn't hear what you say. Can you please start afresh?
So Dermot was
Is that better now? Can you hear me now?
Oh yes, yeah.
I think I got it, Dermot. I can pass on if you like. So he said that you've obviously found like your purpose in life with your art. This is what your kind of calling was. How would you encourage other people to find what their kind of purpose is?
Yeah, I would say like if they can maybe like try maybe like something that is creative, or like try something that they know, and then they can research about it, and then they can learn what to they can, like I would say, they can learn maybe the jobs that they want. Like let's say I'm an artist, like I can just research about like I can research about art jobs, and then they can just do the same. Like let's say maybe there's someone who wants to be an engineer, they can research about engineering. Maybe let's say there's someone who wants to be like maybe let's say there's someone who wants to be like in the business marketing, like they can research in that part. So I'll say they should research, and I'll say they should research and just give it a go.
There we go. I have another question. Outside of the direct provision system, how do you think immigrants are treated in Ireland?
So the provision, I don't have a clue.
Like, I mean, I just mean, like, say, if you're just in general public in society, out in the street, or like when you're working, do you feel like immigrants are treated differently or the same to like regular Irish?
Okay, I would say like many people that like are living in direct provision and who are living in direct provision, like are facing like some racial issues outside direct provision. It's because like they always feel that they don't belong to the community, so like they don't have that sense of belonging. Not everyone.
Yeah.
Not everyone. So.
Like integration is important.
Yes, I would say integration is important.
And then, like you also said, like, do you think racism is just like? Do you think how do you think people of color are treated in Ireland?
Depends. Like sometimes like and even I faced like some people like who have been racist to me, but like I managed to end the situation like nicely without like any argument. I was just talking and stuff. So
I have questions I want to ask. I think that the reason I'm following even what Ryan was asking is separation in the way of people from Africa have been treated from the direct provision from other countries. And then another question specifically related to your art, if you have some, let's say, artists that you follow and for which you are taking inspiration from your work.
I'm going to group the questions first for answer. So Antonio was asking Elton, first of all, does he think, I think we discussed this on Saturday, does he think that people of color, people from African descent are treated differently in Ireland versus immigrants of different color? And that's the first question. Do you want to answer that first? And then
I would say, yeah, I would say that we are treated differently. It's because like whenever maybe let's say they've 3 artists, like let's say there's me and then there's like some other people like from like a different race, like obviously I'll feel that I'll be the last choice until they see my work. You see, so like I would say like people like I think people with color like black people. Let me not say that. Sorry. I would say people with color are being treated differently because how can I explain it? I don't know how to
There
explain
is
it.
a feeling
Yeah,
different,
like-
so people feel differently even
Yeah, like we-
this thing of the
Yeah, like we feel that we are
Mm.
being treated differently.
Do you see any difference in how you're treated? Say, like in the centre, is there a difference in how immigrants from Eastern Europe say are treated versus, or people from Asia are treated? Are they treated differently? Do you think how people are African descent treated?
Like in the provision, like we are all treated differently.
Yeah.
Like it depends. Like it depends. It's because like for me, like I feel like I'm now treated like fairly, and then maybe like for people that like are new, like they'll be obviously treated differently because like they don't know the system
Yeah.
and stuff, so like they'll be an advantage.
Mm.
So,
And then Andrew, your second question was, do you have any artists that you follow and their work?
follow many artists.
Banksy.
Oh yeah, I follow many artists, especially here in Cork. Like I also follow artists from America.
Oh.
I also follow artists from UK. Yeah, I follow like many artists here, especially like from around Cork City.
Yeah. All right, trying to get the photo up there of the murals. This is the mural that we commissioned Elton to paint at our offices last summer, which is the end of our Global Goals Trail. So if you're ever in Cork City, you can come into Scala and the trail starts at the front, and you can walk all the way around and learn about all 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And then number 17 is this mural, which Elton painted last summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Can you zoom in a small bit there, just to crop out the edges?
Yeah, okay.
I was about to say to turn the laptop around so you can see it. Sorry.
Like that.
I'm saying, yeah. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. Elton, how did you find painting such a big mural? I think it was the first time you've done such a big project on your own.
Oh yes, that was my first time doing like a big project, and I was not familiar with the type of paint I was using, but to go with the flow. So, but I would say it was a big challenge for me because like I'm used to paint like in canvases, papers and stuff. So it was my first time painting a big mural. Yeah, I never know.
How long did it take you? 15 days, I think we were saying, yeah. Just for those in the call, we can explain the idea behind it. So the mural itself is meant to represent all 17 development goals. So each of the people are SDG champions, represent 1 or 2 of the goals. So Malala Yousafzai there in the middle represents both SDG 4 and 5. So gender equality and quality education. Obviously, that's kind of her messages. So even Elton, one of Elton's fantastic ideas, where if you can see very close, just behind each of them is a faint outline of a color, which corresponds to the color of the SDG. So SDG 4 and 5 are both red, and that corresponds to the shadow behind Malala there. Yeah. If you see, this is the poster of all the goals. 4 and 5 have the kind of have the red color, which is what's behind Malala. Same with all the rest of them. So from right to left on the outside right is Katrina Fumi, who is the coordinator of Cork Penny Dinners, which is a service in Cork City that serves 300 people a day with hot dinners. Probably over the course of the week, it's more like well over 1,000 people access our services, paying food, counselling services, addiction therapy services, education services, healthcare. She runs an absolutely amazing service, but she's there to represent SDG 2, Zero Hunger. Then one in from her is Mary Copany, who is a young girl from Flint, Michigan, who campaigned for clean water rights when she was only 14, met Obama and forced through legislation to guarantee clean water access for her community. So she represents SDG 6, clean water sanitation. Obviously, then it's David Attenborough, which is the one that everyone recognizes, I think, when they pull up. It's so accurate and obviously so well-known face. He's there to represent life on land and life below water for his tireless activism for the earth and everything on it. Malala, we talked about. One then to the left is Kevin Dowling, who is probably the least well-known of the group. He was a bishop in South Africa, who we would have come across their work and serve, and he is there to represent SDG 3, which is good health and well-being. So he was one of the first clergymen in the world to advocate for the use of contraception. He lived in one of the highest HIV/AIDS rate community in the world in South Africa, and advocated for the use of contraception before almost anyone else in the church had, and saved lives in the process. So he represents good health. Then is NS-HEMA, who is the founder of our service partner in India, the Association for People with Disabilities. So she represents reduced disabilities for, again, the incredible work she's done in Bangalore, supporting people with disabilities, both physical and intellectual, challenging stigma in the community and supporting services for those people. And then lastly on the left is Vanessa Nakate, who is a climate activist from Uganda, who's done absolutely incredible work, but is so poorly known, I think, because of media bias. I talked the last day that she has literally been cropped out of pictures with Greta Thunberg and world leaders. Like, there's literally a picture of her and Greta and world leaders, and she has been cropped out of it because of her background or the color of her skin or whatever it is. So we try to promote voices of people that are not getting recognized for their work, like Vanessa and others on that list. Then up above that, the Young People of the Cork Life Centre, which is an education institution in Cork, which fights for people who have found themselves out of the mainstream education system, came here and designed the rest of the mural. So they come up with ideas for above the people there to represent the other SDGs. So the scales of justice there represent the SDG 16. The ban on plastic and vegetable patch use of vegetable patch is representing SDG 12, and obviously the rest then are there as well. We have some of the organizations involved down below, and some more information on the right. But it's absolutely incredible, and every inch of it done by Elton tirelessly for weeks on end, it felt like. But it's absolutely amazing, I think, and everyone who comes through the gates here is just overwhelmed by how fantastic it is. Katrina Toomey, when she came out to visit, she's so far the only person on the list we've managed to get to actually visit the place, but one of these days I'm sure we'll get Malala out there. But she said it was just one of the most incredible experiences of her life. I'm sure she's probably come and seen drawings of her in the past, which aren't all that fantastic, but it's like looking in the mirror. She said it's absolutely incredible, the painting, and we've Elton to thank for it. He was just incredible. So yeah. Thank you, Millie. So yeah, absolutely incredible art. And if people want to check you out and your work, how would they find you?
It's Elton_S_arts.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah. So on Instagram, and you are available for commissions, I understand. You are willing.
24/7.
So yeah, I mean, we could probably talk for hours with Elton and about his experiences, and also obviously his incredible ability. But if we have any few more questions, or we can start to wrap up. So yeah,
Can I ask
Yeah.
why you haven't added Leonardo DiCaprio?
I think it is due an update in URL, right? So if anyone's
Yeah,
any suggestions of to who we might add in, we can probably bring it back out and
As well, yeah, it will be.
So what's your kind of like experience that you had like, and how does it kind of make you feel talking about it, and obviously talking about TV?
I'm not a person who cries, so like I'll say I just talk about it. Yeah, I'll say it's fine, it's grand, it's depressing, but like I just talk about it. Like a person who cries, so I just talk about it.
it's like a picture of Zimbabwean resilience there, and it's fine but depressing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have one more question here for you, if you're ready to finish. Is remember you told me a story about trying to fit in South Africa with the language. Can you remember if you want to tell that story?
Oh yeah, because like in South Africa, like they speak like many languages.
So you want to tell them what language and tribe you speak?
Like I speak like Ndebele originally, but like in South Africa, like it's similar to Zulu. So like when I went to South Africa, I was trying to fit in. So I was pretending that I'm a Zulu person. So like I managed to speak like Zulu perfectly. So and I also speak Xhosa, another language. It's like a click language in South Africa. I speak that one.
So if you've been found out as Ndebele, what would have happened?
I would say you have to have like a funeral parlor. It's because it's because like Zimbabweans are treated like nicely in South Africa. So
yeah, and I'm gonna be telling me that there's a few words in Zulu that are different than Ndebele. Only a few.
Oh yes.
You word that you might accidentally say a word that was just Ndebele and not Zulu.
Oh yeah. Especially like, let's say maybe if you want to say like good morning, like to someone in South Africa, is different how you say it, good morning to someone in Zimbabwe. And maybe if you want to say like goodbye, like just like the basic words, like they are kind of different. And like even like when you're describing the food that like they ate, like it's kind of different. So like if you slip up there, they keep like, they're not from here.
Yeah, so I that story always stuck out to me of like you've already escaped Zimbabwe and already difficult, and then you're in a place that you have to kind of protect yourself just by the language you speak. So English is your fourth language?
Yeah, the fourth language. My last language. Language is so hard.
So unless you have any more questions from the floor or from Zoom.
Back at the summer.
Yeah, like it's because like sometimes maybe you will be like trying to explain the situation that you're in, and then not like and then you don't even find the words to explain to the manager, and then the manager will be like, okay. So that kind of stuff like is happening, like especially to new people that just came in like now, like people from Ukraine, people from Somalia, people from other countries. Yeah. So like they find it hard like to explain what they want. They find it hard like to explain like their needs and wants. So yeah. Like family, yeah. Like it's because like now in their professions they are like English lessons, so like people like they can go there and then they can learn like English and stuff. So I'll say it's grand. And then they can even like, and then they can be able to talk like they can able to ask for what they want.
How important has the support of other Zimbabweans been since you've been here?
They supported me like they supported me like fairly. I think they did a really good job because I was always indoors, not wanting to go outside because like I was like it's because I was afraid to speak to people because whenever they say hi to me, I'll be like, like I didn't know how to respond and stuff. So, and then when I started like meeting them, and then we spoke about it, and then like I actually was using like a Google translator. So like whenever like I speak in the way they can translate to English. So like yeah, it was a long shot, but yeah, it was worth it.
Do you think that there's one separation from people who truly wants to do something instead of people who just came down here and then they just don't do anything and they only use this system just to I'm not really sure. It's because like things like changed recently. So like I'm not really sure which one, like maybe like if they change for certain people that came in or what, but like the system has changed.
Do we have other questions? Or from Facebook? I was telling Elton on the way here in the car. I was working through the night for another organization, and I turned up and I met this guy saying, talking about food, and he worked in the kitchen in South Africa for 12 years. So that's interesting. Where are you from? Originally, he said, I'm from Zimbabwe. I said, very good. A good friend of mine is from Zimbabwe. He said, where are you from? I said, I'm from Bulawayo. I said, oh, that's interesting. A friend of mine's also from Bulawayo. And I said, he's a really good artist. That's how I know him. And he said, let me show you something. And I said, oh, you an artist as well? And he said, oh, let me show you something. And he pulls out a picture of Elton. And I said, yeah, that's him. He says, that's my firstborn son. So all the way from Bulawayo, Cork is pretty small. It's not that many Bulawayans around the place.
I'm the only artist. So so whenever you say an artist from Bulawayo, that is living in Cork.
That's to you.
That's
me. Yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there, I think. Thanks very much everyone for coming, and thanks to Elton for his time and candor.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, Elton.